Hey guys, tonight we dive into something that probably hits closer than you think. How your life might be slipping through your fingers, unnoticed. Picture this: you're sitting comfortably, scrolling through your phone, watching one video after another, the clock ticking, days blending into each other. You probably won't survive this reality check, but here at HISA most people waste huge chunks of their lives in little, harmless-looking distractions. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, while you're at it, drop your location and local time in the comments. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You trudge through your daily routine, believing you're making progress, but the truth is, tiny moments are slipping by unnoticed. Those 5 minutes spent checking Instagram become 30. The just one more episode turns into 2 hours lost to a screen. It's almost poetic how these moments feel small, harmless, yet collectively, they pile up, stealing your life in stealth mode. Historians still argue whether the invention of the clock was a blessing or a curse, but one thing is clear: how you choose to spend your time defines the quality of your life. Think about ancient Egyptians. They crafted calendars and sundials not just to tell time, but to organize their lives around the sun, the seasons, and their work. They understood the power of structure. Meanwhile, there's this quirky fringe tidbit that some cultures used crocodile dung as sunscreen, a strange reminder that sometimes we cling to odd habits while missing the bigger picture. Just like you might cling to your phone when you could be learning English or investing in yourself. The first step to stop wasting life is awareness, knowing where your time really goes. And here's a gentle jab: if you keep thinking "I'll start tomorrow," that tomorrow might never come. So tonight, as we glide through this podcast, you're going to start seeing your day in a new light. One small change at a time. No big leaps, just tiny nudges that build into lasting momentum. Remember this moment: the soft hum of the fan, the quiet before you decide to take back your time. Because wasting life isn't just about time lost, it's about opportunities missed, dreams delayed, and the English skills you could be mastering right now. You wake up tomorrow morning with a fresh start, or so you hope. But what if the real power to change your life lies not in grand gestures, but in tiny, daily habits that slip beneath the radar? You might think, how can brushing my teeth differently or spending 5 extra minutes reading English make a dent? Well, here's the thing: small, consistent habits compound like interest in a bank account. This isn't just motivational fluff, it's backed by history and science. Look at Benjamin Franklin, for instance. He famously tracked his daily habits meticulously, aiming to improve himself bit by bit. Historians still argue whether his routine made him a genius or if his quirks were just eccentric. But one undeniable fact remains: his small daily actions shaped his success. You don't need to invent electricity to see the value in habit building. Meanwhile, here's a quirky tidbit: Japanese monks practice something called kaizen, which means continuous, incremental improvement. They don't overhaul their lives overnight. Instead, they focus on tiny improvements that add up to mastery. It's like learning English one word, one sentence, one conversation at a time. So how does this work for you? Imagine dedicating just 10 minutes a day to a simple English habit. Maybe it's repeating phrases aloud, reading a short article, or listening to a podcast like this one. At first, it feels trivial, but after a month, that small habit grows roots. You start noticing your vocabulary improving, your confidence building. The key is consistency, not intensity. Of course, you're human, so slipping up is normal. What separates those who succeed from those who stall is getting back on track, not beating yourself up. Remember that weird fact about the Romans? They sometimes used urine to whiten their togas. Strange, but they persisted in daily rituals regardless. Persistence, no matter how odd or imperfect, beats perfection. You might wonder, can such small changes really fight the giant beast of procrastination? Well, that's exactly what we'll tackle next. But for now, lean into this. Stop waiting for a perfect moment. Start with a tiny habit today. and watch how it quietly builds the English skills and life momentum you crave. You sit down, ready to start your English practice or tackle a new project, and suddenly, the infamous procrastination monster creeps in. You promise yourself 5 more minutes of scrolling or just one quick check of your messages, but somehow, the hours vanish. Procrastination is sneaky. It's the thief of time disguised as a harmless break. But here's the thing, you can outsmart it with simple tricks. Historically, procrastination isn't new. Even Leonardo da Vinci faced this struggle, often jumping between projects and delaying finishing many of them. Historians still argue whether his scattered focus was a creative boon or a productivity curse. Either way, it's clear even the greatest minds battled with putting things off. One quirky tidbit: did you know that procrastination might actually be linked to your brain's wiring? The limbic system, responsible for instant gratification, often wins over the prefrontal cortex, which handles planning and discipline. This is why resisting a fun distraction feels like trying to hold back a waterfall. So how do you beat procrastination without turning into a productivity robot? Start with the Pomodoro technique. Set a timer for 25 minutes and focus solely on your task. Then reward yourself with a 5-minute break. It's like tricking your brain into thinking the work is manageable and the reward is near. Another trick is temptation bundling. Pair your English learning with something you enjoy. Listen to your favorite music only while practicing vocabulary or watch a beloved show with English subtitles. Suddenly, studying isn't a chore, it's part of your fun time. And if all else fails, give yourself permission to start with just 1 minute. Yes, 1 minute. The hardest part is starting, and once you do, momentum often carries you forward. Remember the quirky fact about how some people clean their desks by first throwing everything into a drawer? It's not ideal, but starting small beats paralysis. So tonight, when procrastination knocks, greet it with a smirk and a timer. You've got simple tools to turn that thief into an ally, inching you closer to your English goals and a more fulfilled life. You might think learning English is just about grammar rules and vocabulary lists, but it's so much more. A tool that unlocks doors to career opportunities, new friendships, and even shifts in mindset. Imagine English as your passport, not just to another language, but to a whole new way of thinking and growing. Take Queen Elizabeth I, who famously spoke multiple languages. Historians still argue how much that linguistic skill influenced her diplomatic success, but there's no doubt mastering languages broadened her worldview and power. That's the kind of edge English can give you today, connecting you with people and ideas beyond your local bubble. A quirky tidbit: some polyglots say that learning English helped them see their own native language in a new light, almost like discovering secret codes hidden in everyday speech. This meta-awareness improves cognitive flexibility, creativity, and problem-solving, skills that spill over into every part of life. But English isn't just a skill, it's a mindset. When you commit to learning, you're embracing discomfort, making mistakes, and growing. It teaches patience and resilience. The journey itself is a practice in perseverance, a life lesson wrapped in grammar and pronunciation. You probably don't realize it, but every new word you learn is a tiny victory against stagnation. When you speak, you're practicing bravery, and with each conversation, you stretch your mental limits, becoming more adaptable and confident. So, don't just see English as a subject, see it as a growth engine. Your career, your mindset, even your relationships can flourish because of this language. The more you use English to explore, express, and connect, the more you invest in your life's upgrade. Remember, just like the great explorers who mapped unknown lands, you're charting your own path. The English you learn today builds bridges to tomorrow's opportunities, and that's a powerful reason to stop wasting time and start speaking up. You settle into your comfort zone like a cozy blanket, telling yourself everything's fine. But here's the catch: comfort zones are secret life wasters. They lull you into complacency, stealing your potential one peaceful moment at a time. The irony: you're safe, Yes, but also stuck. Look at the 19th century explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton. Historians still debate if his epic Antarctic expedition was reckless or visionary, but one thing's clear: he constantly pushed beyond comfort into harsh unknowns. That discomfort forged leadership, resilience, and legendary survival skills. Your English journey demands the same kind of boldness. Here's a quirky fact: animals like goldfish can become comfortable in a tiny bowl, forgetting the vast pond outside. Sounds silly, but it's a perfect metaphor for your learning habits. When you stick to familiar English phrases or easy topics, you might feel secure, but your growth is cramped. So how do you gently nudge yourself out? Start with small challenges: a new English podcast, an unfamiliar conversation topic, or reading a book slightly above your level. It's like stretching a muscle, uncomfortable at first but necessary for strength. Remember that one time you survived a cringe-worthy mistake while speaking English? That awkward moment was a gift, a sign you're growing. Each discomfort is proof you're moving forward, even if it feels shaky. Life and language both reward risk-takers. When you push past comfort, you open doors to new ideas, friends, and confidence. Staying comfortable might feel safe now, but in the long run, it's just another way to waste life's precious moments. So tonight, as you practice, lean into that tiny discomfort. Embrace the awkwardness, because growth happens there, just beyond the cozy blanket. You might think time management is a modern invention, but history tells a different story. People have wrestled with mastering time for centuries. Ancient Greeks famously divided the day into 12 equal parts using water clocks, and Julius Caesar's reforms led to the Julian calendar, reshaping how we understand time itself. Historians still argue whether these early methods truly improved productivity or just added complexity to daily life. Consider Benjamin Franklin, a man obsessed with scheduling every hour of his day. His motto, "Time is money," wasn't just a catchy phrase, it was a guide to his disciplined success. Yet, here's the quirky side: Franklin sometimes procrastinated himself, showing even the most structured minds struggled with focus. Modern time management boils down to prioritizing tasks and minimizing distractions. One unusual fact: during World War II, soldiers used time boxing, focusing all energy on a single task for a fixed time, similar to today's Pomodoro technique. It's amazing how history cycles through ideas, showing some solutions never go out of style. For you, this means organizing your English practice into focused blocks rather than random bursts. Schedule short, intentional sessions that fit your energy levels. It's not about working harder but smarter. And remember, time management isn't about squeezing every second out but creating space to breathe and learn effectively. Like the Egyptians who timed their farming to the Nile's flooding, syncing with natural rhythms enhances results. So next time you think you have no time, recall history's lessons. Master your minutes, and you master your life. Yeah, and your English. You've probably stumbled, made mistakes, felt the sting of failure in your English learning or life ambitions. But here's the good news: mistakes aren't just bumps in the road, they're fuel for momentum. Learning from failure is as old as humanity itself. Take Thomas Edison, who famously said he didn't fail but found 10,000 ways that won't work. Historians still debate how many attempts he actually made before inventing the light bulb, but one quirky fact stands out: he sometimes tested ideas on animals, a practice that raised eyebrows even in his time. It's a reminder that progress often comes from unconventional paths. Mistakes in English, like mispronouncing words or mixing tenses, feel embarrassing but are essential stepping stones. You build muscle memory by trying, failing, and adjusting. Every blunder nudges you closer to fluency. In fact, some language learners intentionally make mistakes to test others, sparking conversations and corrections. It's a bold strategy that speeds learning and builds confidence. So, don't shy away from errors, invite them as your quirky tutors. Remember the ancient sailors who navigated uncharted seas using trial and error. They didn't have GPS, just experience and courage. Like them, your mistakes map your path forward. Tonight, when you slip up, smile and lean into the lesson. Mistakes aren't signs of failure, they're your momentum makers. pushing you to grow faster than safe, mistake-free zones ever could. Your mind buzzes with thoughts as some useful, many distractions disguised as important ideas. It's no wonder staying focused on English practice or life goals feels like wrestling a swarm of bees. Mindfulness, an ancient practice, offers a way to calm the chaos and reclaim your attention. Centuries ago, Buddhist monks developed mindfulness meditation to cultivate awareness of the present moment. Historians still argue whether its early forms were purely spiritual or practical tools for mental clarity. Regardless, today mindfulness is celebrated worldwide for improving focus and reducing stress. A quirky tidbit: in the 1960s, scientists tested mindfulness by having participants eat raisins very slowly, sometimes for 15 minutes, forcing the brain to engage fully with simple acts. You might chuckle, but this slow, deliberate focus rewires your attention span. Applying mindfulness means noticing when your thoughts drift to Instagram or worries about tomorrow. Instead of chasing them, gently bring your focus back to your breath or the English phrase you're practicing. This isn't about emptying your mind but guiding it like a patient shepherd. Even a few minutes daily can build mental muscle, making it easier to sit through longer study sessions or hold conversations without zoning out. Your brain becomes less reactive to distractions, and your English learning becomes more efficient. Remember that fan's soft hum from the beginning? Let it be a grounding anchor when your mind wanders. This small practice is a secret weapon to stop wasting precious mental energy and redirect it where it truly matters. So tonight, try this: breathe, notice, return, repeat. Your focus and English skills will thank you. Motivation feels like that elusive spark. You light it up with excitement, and then it flickers or fades, leaving you wondering why you can't keep going. But science shows motivation and willpower aren't magic, they're muscles you can train and understand. Look back to the Victorian era, when psychologists began studying human behavior systematically. Historians still argue how much early theories on willpower truly apply today, but we've learned a lot since then. For instance, motivation isn't a single thing, it fluctuates depending on your energy, environment, and mindset. Here's a quirky fact: studies found that the smell of peppermint can boost alertness and focus. So, that minty gum you chew while studying English might actually help more than just freshen your breath. Research also reveals willpower is limited, like a battery that drains during the day. That's why late-night study sessions sometimes feel impossible. The trick? Manage your energy, not just your time. Plan challenging tasks when you're freshest, and use rewards wisely. You might try breaking big goals into tiny, achievable chunks to keep motivation steady. Each small success releases dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, creating a positive feedback loop. Suddenly, progress feels addictive in a good way. Remember that quirky peppermint fact next time your motivation dips. Science has your back, and so do your habits. With a little strategy, you can sustain the fire long enough to transform your English skills and your life. You wake up and think, today, I'm going to nail my English practice. But by evening, it's half done or skipped entirely. Sound familiar? The secret isn't just motivation, it's building a routine that sticks like glue, fitting smoothly into your life instead of battling it. Look back to the Industrial Revolution, when factory workers relied on strict schedules to maximize productivity. Historians still argue whether rigid routines stifled creativity or enabled progress, but structure undeniably shaped modern life. Your English practice needs that kind of structure, but with flexibility. Here's a quirky tidbit: some people swear by practicing English right after brushing their teeth. Weird? Maybe. Effective? Definitely. Pairing a new habit with an existing one, called habit stacking, makes it easier to remember and stick to. Start small, pick a specific time and place, even if it's just 10 minutes sitting on your couch with an app or book. Over time, your brain will associate that spot with learning, making it easier to begin each session without hesitation. Don't worry about perfection. Some days you'll do more, some less. The key is consistency, not intensity. If you miss a day, don't beat yourself up, just return calmly. Remember how ancient monks practiced daily chanting, sometimes skipping a day but returning with the same dedication. Building a routine transforms English practice from a chore to a habit. It frees your mind from decision fatigue. No more wondering, should I study today? Because it's just what you do. So tonight, think about where and when you want your English time. Create a small ritual around it. Soon enough, it'll be second nature, and your progress will surprise you. You pick up your phone just for a minute, but before you know it, an hour or more has vanished down the social media rabbit hole. Social media isn't evil, but it's a sneaky time thief, subtly draining your energy and focus, especially when you're trying to learn English or grow as a person. Consider the 20th century, when psychologists first studied attention spans. Historians still argue how much technology has shortened our focus, but one thing is clear. Constant notifications and endless scrolling hijack your brain's reward system. Here's a quirky fact: the infinite scroll design on many apps was inspired by slot machines, engineered to keep you hooked by rewarding unpredictable wins of new content. It's literally gambling with your attention. To regain control, start by setting limits. Use app timers or put your phone on Do Not Disturb during English practice. Replace social media with short, engaging English content like podcasts or interactive quizzes, turning your screen time into growth time. You don't have to quit social media cold turkey, just be mindful of how it sneaks into your day. Think of it like a party guest who overstays. Invite them in, but know when to say goodbye. Remember, every minute saved from mindless scrolling is a minute gained for speaking practice, reading, or even daydreaming about your future success in English. Tonight, when the urge to check your feed hits, pause and ask, will this help me learn or just waste my life? The choice is yours, and every choice shapes your journey. You might think learning English is a solo journey, but the truth is, community plays a huge role in keeping you motivated and improving faster. Humans are social creatures, wired to learn and grow through connection, and that applies to language learning and life goals too. Look back to the Enlightenment period, when salons and coffee houses were hubs for ideas, debate, and collaboration. Historians still argue how much these social gatherings shaped modern thinking, but their impact was undeniable. The same principle applies today: connecting with others boosts your learning and motivation. Here's a quirky fact: in some cultures, talking circles were used to teach young members through stories and shared wisdom, emphasizing listening as much as speaking. This ancient method highlights the power of community in learning. Online communities, language exchange partners, or local meetups offer chances to practice English, share struggles, celebrate wins, and stay accountable. Debates continue on whether online groups can fully replace face-to-face interaction, but both have unique benefits. Being part of a group breaks isolation and injects fun into your learning. When you share progress, you feel seen and inspired. Plus, helping others clarifies your own understanding, a win-win. So, tonight, consider reaching out to join a forum, find a language buddy, or simply share your goals with friends. You don't have to do this alone. Your community can be the fuel that keeps your English journey and life momentum alive. You might underestimate the power of sleep and rest in your English learning and overall life momentum, but science shows that quality rest is one of the most effective tools to supercharge your brain and keep your energy from draining away. Look back to the Victorian era, where the invention of the electric light changed how people slept, often shortening their natural rest. Historians still argue how this shift affected productivity and health, but the consensus is clear: good sleep is vital for mental sharpness. Here's a quirky tidbit: dolphins sleep with only one half of their brain at a time, keeping the other half alert to dangers. Humans, unfortunately, don't have this superpower, so deep, uninterrupted sleep is crucial for recharging. During sleep, your brain processes and consolidates everything you learned during the day, including new English words and grammar. Skimp on rest, and those lessons might slip through the cracks. Plus, rest isn't just sleep. Taking short breaks during study sessions refreshes your focus and prevents burnout. The famous artist Leonardo da Vinci took frequent naps, recognizing the value of rest for creativity and endurance. So tonight, Prioritize winding down early, ditch the screens before bed, and listen to your body's need for rest. It's not wasted time, it's investment time, fueling your next day's progress. Remember, the best learners balance effort with recovery. Your brain will thank you by making English learning smoother and your life richer. You might think success is all about action, but mental rehearsal of visualizing success is a powerful, often overlooked tool. Athletes have used visualization for decades, imagining perfect moves before stepping onto the field, and you can use the same technique to boost your English and life achievements. Look back to ancient Greece, where philosophers like Aristotle explored the power of imagination and mental training. Historians still debate the extent to which visualization shaped ancient rhetoric and learning, but its benefits are recognized across cultures. Here's a quirky tidbit: some primates have shown the ability to mentally rehearse actions before performing them, suggesting visualization is wired deep into our brains. To use this yourself, find a quiet moment, close your eyes, and picture yourself speaking English confidently in real-life situations, giving a presentation, chatting with friends, or traveling abroad. Feel the emotions, hear the words, see the smiles. This mental practice prepares your brain, reduces anxiety, and primes your muscles for actual performance. It's like a dress rehearsal without the stage fright. Combine visualization with affirmations, positive statements about your abilities, and you create a mental environment that fosters success. So tonight, before you sleep, take a few minutes to imagine your English journey unfolding with ease and joy. These mental rehearsals light the path ahead, making your dreams feel tangible and achievable. Remember, success starts in the mind, and your imagination is a powerful rehearsal room for the life you want. You've sparked change, built habits, battled procrastination, and embraced discomfort. Now, the challenge is sustaining that momentum, transforming sparks into steady flames that fuel your English journey and life beyond. Look to the ancient Mayans, who created complex calendars to predict cycles of time and energy. Historians still debate the accuracy of their systems, but the principle stands: understanding cycles helps sustain long-term success. Here's a quirky tidbit: some plants follow a circadian rhythm, opening and closing their leaves daily, a nature's own routine reminder to conserve energy and thrive. For you, sustaining change means recognizing natural ebbs and flows in motivation and energy. It's okay to have off days. What matters is returning to your practice without guilt. Use tools like habit trackers or journals to visualize progress and keep goals fresh. Celebrate small wins, they're the fuel that keeps your flame alive. Connect with your why regularly. Remind yourself why you started learning English and what life you're building. This anchor prevents burnout and deepens commitment. Above all, be kind to yourself. Change is a marathon, not a sprint. Embrace setbacks as part of the journey, not the end. Tonight, feel proud of how far you've come. Your new life rhythm is forming, one choice at a time. Keep the flame alive, and watch your English skills and your life blossom.